That's right, folks. This is, of course, the podcast of champions. I'm Jeff S. True Knowledge. I am a member of the champions and whatnot, and I am just happily getting an opportunity to moderate and host tonight, or today, or whatever it is, wherever you happen to be when you catch this video. Grandmaster's taking the night off, and so I'm moderating, and I'm here to go ahead and um, try to help put together a hopefully very fun and informative show right here on the Podcast of Champions. Um, Doing a top 9 ranking of the 2021 MCU releases that came out from best to worst. We're going to try to get through 1 through 5 tonight. So start things off right off the bat. Again, this is the Podcast of Champions out of sakar.freeforums.net. And Grandmaster, who is typically the moderator the majority of the time on the Podcast of Champions, is here on the panel tonight. And Grandmaster, it is good to see you, my friend.
It's good to see you, Jeff, my friend. And I'm looking forward to crack our top 5 of the MCU 2021.
I am too. And I feel like, you know what? There's a lot to talk about what went down in 2021.
Yep.
Renee, of course, who is a frequent regular guest on the MCU's Bleeding Edge now for a while, and of course comes out of sakar.freeforums.net, the Podcast of Champions herself, is back on here for this ranking show on the Podcast of Champions. Renee, how are you, my friend?
Well, I'm doing wonderful. How about you, Jeffrey?
Oh man, you know what? Honestly, compared to like where I was at about 15 minutes ago when I was having that panic attack earlier, oh man, I feel like heaven compared to that.
Well, I talked you out of it. I talked you down.
That's right. Renee just has that effect on me, you know. Her femininity just like calms me.
That's not
anyways,
what it was.
Oh, okay. But so basically, we're waiting on a couple of people, a couple stragglers. We've got Jeff B and Gunner, frequent guests on the show. Well, on the Bleeding Edge, excuse me. Hopefully, they're going to be popping up here on the Podcast of Champions here shortly. But we're going to go ahead and try to get things started off on here with them or without them, and get into this ranking. And basically, how this is going to work is that we're going to give you our like most accurate and like logical and thought out picks, on with our rankings as best we can, and everybody's going to go ahead and have time to talk about what they pick and where they spot things and how they rank things, and probably there's going to be some disputes, and probably there's going to be some conversations based off some of this stuff. So, all right, let's do this ranking. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna moderate and participate, so I'm gonna be switch hitting on this bitch, and that's okay though, because I can handle it. But I'm actually going to make Renee be the first person to start with her number 1, and then the Grandmaster, and then I'll come in last. So Renee, you're number 1 out of everything that came out in 2021. You're number 1 on your list. What do you got?
WandaVision.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you copying me off of like when we did?
No. Let me explain. When
Hold
I
on.
first, wait. Whoop! Stop. My turn.
Okay.
When I first started, I think WandaVision was the first TV show, right? So,
Grandmaster, I'm going to point out something in a minute. Hold on.
So when I started watching it the first time, I didn't like it. I didn't get it. I thought it was hokey. I made it about halfway in, and I thought, the heck with this. So I watched Loki when Loki came out. I watched it all the way through. Then I said, well, you know what? I think I'll go back and redo WandaVision. Loved it. I got it that time. I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just in the wrong frame of mind or whatever it was, just not ready. But when I went back, I totally got it at that point. And the more I've thought about it and how creative and how innovative it was, and it's just kind of everything clicked as far as I was concerned on my second viewing. So yeah, just based on the fact that it grew on me, it's my number one.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just want to preface there, Grandmaster, that now I don't know. Hold on, let me just put it out there, okay? Renee was not a part of the show where we did the ranking like this or whatever before in the Bleeding Edge, but when I did my like number one, right, for my list, which I can tell you right now, folks, I guarantee you, my list tonight will be different than it was then. It will. My number one was WandaVision, and everybody in the show was all like shocked about it. That I would have picked that I picked WandaVision to be my number one. But no. That I respect that. I respect that, Renee. And Grandmaster, you're number one.
My number one is Eternals.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay,
I knew this was going to happen.
Is this a joke?
No. Seriously, my
Okay.
number one is Eternals. I think it's actually I recently did a rewatch of the complete MCU, as you all know. The people who are listening or watching may not know. I started on December 28th, and I was finished before mid-February. I did it in 41 days, and I included all the shows from Disney Plus, including What If, everything. And there's a thread on Sakar that proves it. I posted comments during my rewatch on Sakar, so it's there. If you want to see it, it's there. And it shook up my previous ranking quite a bit, but Eternals was number one before, and remains number one. It's my number one in the complete MCU. And why? Because I think it's a movie that stands out from the rest of what Marvel Studios has done. It's completely different. And I get that it's not for a lot of people. It's not for a lot of fans of the MCU. But I am more than just an MCU fan. And cinematically speaking, I think it's the best movie. And I look at it from that's a viewpoint. It has amazingly beautiful shots, which are, for the most part, even naturally made, so they do not come from a computer. I think the family dynamic was intense and amazing, well written. Yeah, the action scenes actually were a little bit annoying sometimes, but when you look at the action scene with Makari, I thought they were great. The visual effects created were amazing. You get a freaking celestial coming out of the earth, for crying out loud. Yeah. For me, it had everything. Everything I like. I like my movies slow paced and a little bit more character based and a little bit more about story. And I'm a history buff. You get a lot of history. I mean, Babylon looked freakingly good.
Where was the story then? Like, where was the story? Did I miss something? Because, like, look, Grandmaster, I respect you and whatnot and everything. If Eternals is your number one, that's fine.
But the story is not so much in what actually happens in the movie, but it's more the philosophical debate behind it that is more interesting to me and more appealing to me. And they went into a direction which they had never done before. So yeah, to me, Eternals is number one. But I totally get that MCU fans who are in it for different things into the MCU than I am don't like this movie, because if you look at it fairly, it's quite boring. I know, but if you look at it like from an action standpoint or interconnectivity, yeah, it's not there, not much. So I get that, but when I look at it from what I want from my movies, I got a lot from what I want from my movies from Eternals, and more than from the rest of the MCU. But if you do not agree with me, that's fine. But to me, Eternals is number one, not only in 2021, but in the MCU.
Renee, let me ask you a question, Renee.
Mhm.
If the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right, had been done in like a 2.5 hour film or whatever instead of a series or whatever,
Mhm.
do you think it would have been better than the Eternals?
Hmm. Well, it would be like totally. They're like different movies. I mean,
Either way, what
yeah,
do you think?
one like Grandmaster's pointing out, this Eternals is more. I mean, it's real out there in science fiction. You know, you can
Of
just
course,
yeah, you
but
can divorce it almost from the comic books.
yes, but at the end of the day, you can take Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and you can compare that against Guardians of the Galaxy and pick which one's a better movie.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, one's a television show. It's not. It's got a different pacing to it and everything. It's hard to compare a film to a or to a TV show.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm.
Yeah,
That's
I
what.
expect.
in the end, it's all subjective.
I expect different pacing from the two different products. So I'm
No, I'm
not
saying,
bothered by it.
I'm saying if they took the Falcon and the Winter Soldier premise and instead of doing the series, they made a 2.5 hour film with it.
Hmm.
Do you think that would have been better than the Eternals? That film?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'll just say, I can't predict, stuff like
Okay,
that.
okay, that's fair.
I'm
Look,
not
Jeff.
trying. I'm not trying to cop out on it. I just don't really have
Look, Jeff, I
a way
totally
of,
get that my pick
you know.
is totally odd for you. I told you already before we started
Well,
recording this show that that my number one would be would not be your first choice. Let's just put it like that. But I respect your opinion. I
listen,
hope you respect mine.
I
Let
do
me say
respect
this.
yours.
Let me say this about the Eternals. I wouldn't have picked it certainly in my. It's not even in my top five, but I certainly recognize the movie was well made. I mean, my biggest problem was that it was about 40 minutes too long. They could have probably shortened it up, shortened scenes, picked up cues, stuff like that. The story itself was quite good. I was actually pleased. I thought going into it, well, I don't know about these characters, but going into it, they had a lot of personality and everything that clicked, so I didn't have any problem with that. And I agree, the whole last sequence with the Tiamat and everything, and the other celestial coming up out of Earth, I thought that was just so well made. The one problem I would have is like what I mentioned in the other show. I think they've got all these characters and they're going to be crowding in with all these other new characters that we got coming up. So
Yeah.
that's one worry right there. What are
Yeah.
what are they going to do with these guys now? Are they going to take away from some of our more favorite characters because okay, we got to give Angelina Jolie 20 minutes of screen time. Is that going to take 20? It's going to be crap like that. I'm kind of worried about, and that's just technical stuff.
I get you, but I
Another
trust
thing,
Marvel.
one last thing about it. Gosh almighty, how many times can dear planet Earth be destroyed or be threatened by it? I mean, why does it in the universe that attracts all these horrible please go to another part of the galaxy and bother those people and let us deal with this. So that's just a little
I like the concept of planets being eggs, basically, and I actually like that concept quite a bit. And yeah, there's something about.
we just got Thanos taken care of, and now we got to deal with Tiamat. Come on.
Well, look, at the end of the
Give
day,
us a break.
You know what? It's a unique choice, Grandmaster.
In the end, actually, Eternals made Thanos more like a hero than an Avengers bad guys.
I respect your decision. I mean, I just feel like when it boils down to it, I think that we have differing opinions and whatnot and everything, and
Different taste.
yeah, but at the end of the day, no, I do respect you, and I feel like I guess is it my turn?
It's your show.
Is it my turn or is it your turn, Renee?
No, your turn, Jeff.
No, I took your turn.
Oh no, Renee, you already went WandaVision. I forgot. All right, so we got WandaVision, and then we got Grandmaster went Eternals. So I am going to go with a tie for my number one. It's going to be a tie between 1 and 2, where they're just going to be equal. And it's going to be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision together. I can't at this point. I feel like I'm having a hard time not seeing them equally almost in value, just because I think that honestly, look, I had my qualms with like aspects of like the series and whatnot. I felt like it was very uneven at times. I felt like it was slow paced at times. I felt like certain episodes stood out more than the other episodes, and like some episodes were kind of boring a little bit and slow. I felt like the story kind of stalled at times a little bit. And I'll tell you right now, I had a lot of problems with the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I did. There was a lot of stuff I felt like should have been done differently. I didn't like the way that they introduced Captain America into the movie. That they didn't have him actually put the suit on and everything and whatever, and like let us see that and all that, you know. He just like shows up, you know. But I feel like again, this list could probably change again in a month if I did this again, but I feel like with WandaVision, there was so many different factors. There was, you know, the fact that they were taking this massive chance. Marvel Studios was taking this massive chance with this totally different concept for them. Totally different. You know, not knowing how the fans would react. And then because of COVID, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier drops off and does not, you know, become the show, the first Disney Plus show that's supposed to come out. It ends up being WandaVision. So they have to be the one to like be number one, the first series. And honestly, I heard the doubters during the series, week by week, complaining and talking about how they didn't get it and how boring it was and this and that and whatever. And honestly, I just thought that WandaVision was overall, to me, the most complete Disney Plus series out of all of them. As far as like all the episodes put together, how on average, how quality they were from episode to episode. And then overall, you know, like, you know, as a series together, combined, how they fit, how it blended, how it worked. I felt like WandaVision was the best with that. Like, they stood out to me with that. And then, of course, probably, like, Loki would be the next one that would come up that would be close to that, like, that kind of level. But I think that where with WandaVision, it had its, you know, it had its moments, like, you know, when Wanda had to let go Vision. That was deep. You want to talk about emotional, Grandmaster? You know what I'm saying? That was deep. You know? Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
I agree. But you will see that with my number 2.
So,
Teasing.
with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? I feel like they gave us a lot of elements that I enjoy. A lot of stuff that I enjoy about Captain America. A lot of stuff I enjoy about what they did in the series. I like Emily Van Camp. I like Agent 13. I like Sharon Carter. I don't like the fact that they made her the fucking, what do you call it? The power broker. I don't know what that's supposed to be about. But overall, as a character in the MCU, I love her. I loved her in the series. Zemo was awesome in that series. I love Zemo. He was great. And, of course, the dynamic and like the chemistry between Sam and Bucky is ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. And I love Captain America. He's my favorite superhero of all time. And I'm telling you right now, I really, it doesn't give me chills. It kind of a little bit does. A little bit it does. When I see in the trailer those scenes of Sam tossing the shield around and holding it and talking about how it doesn't feel like it's his and all that shit and all that, that internal struggle that he dealt with throughout the whole series of not feeling like good enough to be Captain America and all that and hold the shield, I felt was like really powerful, you know? And then you threw in the whole deal with with the black Captain America that like, you know, was like put in like military prison and all those for all those years and everything and whatnot. Isaiah Bradley, you know, and then they brought him. They made him like a shrine for him, like at the museum or whatever at the end. That was deep. That was deep. You know what? And I just loved Sam as Captain America, man. I really did. So that's it. It's my tie. And so going to you, Renee, number 2.
Number 2. Let's see. Number 2 would have to be Hawkeye. I did really like that series. I thought it was as well done as WandaVision, although it was more of a straight, more common storyline narrative than what we're used to. They weren't.
Now this is a surprise, Renee. This is a very surprising pick for number 2. I got to be honest with you.
Why?
To follow WandaVision up with Hawkeye?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway. And I liked how that it kind of, as it did, and it was a Christmas theme, and I thought they handled that well, and the idea of family, and here's Clint Barton. He's at the end of his career, at the end of all of his travails and everything, and he's making amends and trying to finally put Ronan, his period as Ronan, to bed and find some redemption for that. So I thought that was just well handled, and bringing in what was the young, oh gosh, I can't think of the names right now. The little
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, Kate Bishop, bringing in the Bishops and everything. I just thought it was well done, and I just really enjoyed it and just got a big kick out of it. So yeah, that's my number 2.
Well, okay. Hey, well said, Grandmaster.
My number 2 is WandaVision. I think the show is brilliant, brilliantly written. I loved how the fandom every week was like speculating more and more and more and more and more about that one cameo they never got. I thought it was brilliant, and contrary to what some believe, I do think they struck the landing on that show. The journey that Wanda goes through, and it's a show about grief and what it does to people. And when you have a superpowered being like Wanda Maximoff, and she grieves, well, this is what you get. I
think you're pointing. I think you're pointing out something there. If I can jump in real quick, that if you take the 4 TV shows, you can say WandaVision is about grief. You can see Falcon and Winter Soldier as regret. Loki, we have probably, if not redemption, rethinking his life or whatever, or maybe we could say reformation, reincarnation with him. And then with Hawkeye, you do have redemption. You do have redemption fulfilled, you know.
Yeah.
So I think, that those 4 themes of emotion were handled pretty much a part of those shows.
Yeah.
Purposely so.
Yeah. And I think one of the most beautiful lines ever written was in episodes 8. There were 9 episodes, right? Of WandaVision. Yeah, episode 8, when they go back into Wanda's life. For what is grief, if not love persevering? I think that was that struck me as a line, and it's still with me today. It's something I think about a lot, and it's a great show. It's brilliant. You guys have been talking about it already a lot, and I don't have much to add to that.
Okay. So, Eternals, WandaVision, that leaves it to me at number. Well, no, I tied 1 and 2. So do I go right to 3?
No, just wait for number 3 from.
Okay, let's skip. Okay, so let's go back to you then, Renee.
Number 3, Well, that would have to be Loki, for the sheer reason that it's just Loki. I mean, who doesn't love him? I mean, as mean and nasty as he can be, he's still adorable and lovable. No small thanks to the actor who plays him, Tom Hiddleston. Um, I think if he had not, just for his big personality being in the TV show and my love for him, I might would rank it a little bit further down the list. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and the interplay between him and um, oh gosh, Owen Wilson and was just so great. I mean, there's something there. I think you makes you feel like there's Mobius has such an attachment right off the bat to Loki that you think, is there something going on that they knew each other before? And because I think there may be a hidden relationship here that we don't know about, and hopefully we'll get to see in season 2.
Okay.
Oh, my number 3, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I know the movie has issues, pacing issues. Yeah, Aquafina is a little bit of a Mary Sue, Deus Ex Machina, all of a sudden better than Hawkeye. Archer, yeah, I know. But I just love this movie. It's so much fun. It's so good. And it brings back Trevor Slattery, not everybody's favorite, certainly not after Iron Man 3, but I love that guy. Ben Kingsley can play like Gandhi. He can play like Trevor Slattery. Man has range, and he's great in everything. Uh, it's just amazingly fun to watch. It's a fun ride, um, and Tony Leung, my God, how good is he? He killed it as Wen Wu, and yeah, introducing a great, fun new hero into the MCU, Shang-Chi, which yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie, and it's my number 3.
Well, you know what? I feel like, again, um, as far as Shang-Chi goes, I definitely have my complaints with the film. I feel like the way that they handled Death Dealer was really kind of like stupid, because he barely even like had any time in the film, then he was dead. So I didn't like that. Um, but for my number 3, um, I am gonna go with I am gonna go with Black Widow. Why?
Yeah, why? Black Widow had only one good thing about the movie, and that was Yelena Belova.
Well, I'm gonna explain. Hold on. Okay, so as far as why Black Widow for me at number 3, it's very simple. Okay, um, when I sat down at the end of the movie for all the other films, right, that came out in 2021, um, the way I felt at the end of the movie, at the end of the Black Widow and whatnot, where I was at afterwards, like mentally afterwards, was totally different than any other movie, than Shang-Chi, than Spider-Man 3, than the Eternals, totally different. And I felt like, you know, maybe there is some bias involved. Maybe it does have something to do with the fact that it's ScarJo and it's Nat, and she's an original Six Avenger and all that shit and everything and whatnot. Honestly, I don't understand people at all that think that Yelena Belova like carried the movie or whatever, because I feel like Nat like ScarJo stood out. Like if anything, she carried the damn movie. But hey, I honestly think that it was. I mean, it has its faults, just like Shang-Chi does, right?
I
But
agree.
overall, it's a pretty solid damn movie, and
Mm,
I think that Kate Shortland that directed it did a pretty good damn job.
mm. Yeah,
So
I was a bit harsh on it before. I also like Black Widow, and it was a bit of an exaggeration when I said it only had one good thing, and that was Jelena Belova.
No, they made mistakes. I mean, look, the whole
But,
the whole
yeah,
thing
it
with
has
the whole
issues.
thing with Taskmaster was a joke.
Yeah.
No, anyways, but go ahead, Renee. You're next. Number 4.
Number 4, I have to say Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. I liked. It was pretty standard. I mean, as far as the plot and everything, it was just standard Marvel movie. But it was well done. It was beautifully shot. I loved how they recreated the whatever that Shang-Chi province, wherever they're supposed to be at, and then of course I'm sorry, what was that?
Talo.
Okay. And they also brought in Trevor again, and I love because he was great comedy relief and everything. And who doesn't love the actor Ben Kingsley who does that? He's just one of those cuddly guys. He can play so horrible and yet he can play so cuddly at the same time. Probably the greatest performance he ever did was in Sexy Beast. And
But what about the whole deal where they paired him up with that fucking like ass-faced fucking like weird animal thing or whatever? That shit was embarrassing.
You know that those animals that you see in Talo and even Morse, they are actually taken from fantasy animals from Chinese mythology.
Mm-hmm.
They are not made up by Marvel Studios. So
I know that, yeah.
And that's why they brought it in. And I agree, it's a little bit childish, but in the end, it works for this movie. In my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just it works on its own for what it is. It's not pretentious. Like I kind of want to think that, all due respects to Grandmaster, I think Eternals was just a tad pretentious. I didn't see it with this movie, and I didn't see it with Black Widow either. And I'm gonna say Black Widow is my number 5.
I'm not offended, Renee. I mean, I am a little bit pretentious. I mean, I call myself Grandmaster. So,
well, hey, let me point out one thing about the Eternals.
No, you're not. You deserve that title.
I've got to actually add one positive comment I have about the Eternals. The end credit scene with fucking the Black Knight and Blade was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, excellent. My number 4 is Loki. And why? Loki is a very important outing in the MCU for Phase 4. I mean, it breaks open the multiverse. It cuts open the sacred timeline. We got Kang, for God's sakes, in that show. I mean, and the fact that Loki fell in love with himself, that just cracks me up. And it's and that it actually created a big problem on the timeline that he almost kissed his female self. That's amazing, and Loki is just fun, and of course I had to include Renee's son in my list.
Thank you, Mother's Place. Well, stepmom.
Yes.
I'll point out something. Since we're moving into the multiverse, one thing I'll point out: the Lokis are being removed from the verses. Now, what's up with that? Why is Kang specifically removing Lokis?
Because I think Loki is causing the most trouble. He's the god of mischief, basically, in every universe. So you want to take that guy out.
Okay.
I guess.
Well, I'm saying, are we going to have an army of Loki somewhere down the line in the MCU that's going to come back and help save the verses or something?
Okay. Now I really, I need to change my underwear because I just wet myself by the follow-up. See, Jeff, I can go. I can do it better than you, man. I can do it better than you.
Oh yeah. You've got a lot of work to catch up to me, brother.
What's your number 4, Jeff?
All right, my number 4 is going to be. It has to be Loki, and I feel like I'm really, really interested in seeing how Loki season 2 is going to come off, because I feel like Sylvie was totally the Monica Rambeau, like the MVP secondary character like standout character of the series, just like the Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, just like John Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I feel like, I feel like Sylvie, like, I forgot the name of the actress that played her.
Sophia Di Martino.
Sophia Di Martino, yep. I feel like she was so good, and her dynamic and her chemistry with Loki was so good. I loved the fact that they fell in love with each other. I loved their crush. Like, I loved watching it develop from episode to episode.
It's quite meta.
Hey, just the whole feel of Loki was great. Just all of it. The humor was great.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson was great.
You see that leak from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where you see like that orange door from the TVA?
No. Oh yeah, I did see that.
So apparently those guys will show up. So there's a fat chance Loki will show up as well.
Let me tell you something right now about Loki, okay? Loki, out of all the Disney Plus series, Loki had like the best individual episodes as far as like how good some of the individual episodes were. Okay.
Also one of the worst. I mean, Lamentus didn't do much.
Well, here's the thing. Lamentus was episode 3.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I did.
Yeah. I didn't say I didn't like it, but it wasn't really good.
But look, episode 5 with alligator fucking Loki and Kid Loki and old Loki, like classic Loki and everything and whatnot, was awesome. Awesome. Richard E. Spencer was awesome.
Yeah.
And
episode 6, even though not heavy on the action, absolutely no action, actually 3 people sitting in a room talking, was excellent.
And Miss Minutes.
Jonathan Majors gave an excellent performance, and he stole the complete season in that 45 minutes that was given to him.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all I've got on that one. So to you again, Renee, number 5.
Black Widow. I just thought it was there again. I think it was just good, just good old fashioned Marvel action and narrative, and a good swan song, I think, for ScarJo to go out on, since she's technically dead, but that was, of course, a backstory for her that we saw, and then it introduced the new. I guess she's going to be the new Black Widow, Yelena, that we saw in Hawkeye. So I enjoyed all that. So just well put together movie, and I love David Harbour too. I didn't have any problem with the what's this called, the Red Menace or whatever he is, the Red
Guardian.
The Red Guardian, yes, the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
I think the Red Menace is for something else.
No doubt. Well, my number 5 is Hawkeye. And for reasons already mentioned, the Christmas theme, the introduction of Kate Bishop, getting to see New York 2012 again. Bringing back Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin to, what didn't we get during the show? And I think, all in all, there is not a single bad episode in this show. Very solid, very good, and it was great.
Okay.
So, Jeff, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Shang-Chi.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. It's going to be Shang-Chi. And that's just because it's better than the rest. That's simple. Cut and dry.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about it. This is the Podcast of Champions. I am Jeff S., True Knowledge, co-host of the MCU's Bleeding Edge, and a champion, a full-fledged champion on the Podcast of Champions. I am very grateful to have an opportunity to moderate and have a chance to actually be the host of the show here this week and whatnot. I had a great time doing this almost pretty much finished ranking with Renee and with the Grandmaster. Sometimes some of the best shows are when there only are 3 or 4 people together. You know, and at the end of the day, as always, we at the Podcast of Champions wish that you would go check out sakar.freeforums.net. If you go join and get on the message board and go ahead and participate and whatnot, you're going to make friends, you're going to meet cool people, and then you can actually have a chance to go on the Podcast of Champions and make some content with us on the weekends. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to grow it. Please like the video. Please ring the bell. Leave a comment. And please, you know, if you like solid, quality, MCU, DCU, fandom, you know, geekdom, Star Wars type content, you should definitely check out the Podcast of Champions at the end of the day. Nothing but good people and good content coming out of that YouTube channel and that podcast. So, hey, for Grandmaster, for Renee, for Sally, for Richard, and for all of the champions that aren't here, we will see you all next time. And take care. Have a wonderful Monday.
Good night.
Good night.